Okay, I have a Marine sitting in front of me. I know you're a first sergeant. Can you tell me where we are and your name?
Currently, we're aboard Cop Azadi. My name is First Sergeant Christian Bull.
Spell your last name.
B-U-L-L.
Where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Flemington, New Jersey, but I grew up in Paso Robles, California.
How long have you been a Marine?
Been on the Marine Corps for 13 years.
Wow, is this your first trip to Iraq/Afghanistan?
No, this is my third.
Third.
It is.
Tell me about your first. Where were you?
We were in Iraq. Was with the 11th MU. The first time it was actually prior to OIF-1. So we were bouncing all around from Jordan to Syria, into Iraq. Actually made a stop by Djibouti, Africa as well. Spent a good majority of time there actually. It was a good experience.
Tell me about your second trip. Was it in Iraq or Afghanistan?
It was in Iraq.
Where at?
My second trip was in Iraq. We also went to Kuwait, where units would typically stage back then, prior to going into Iraq. So we went to Kuwait, went to Al-Assad, TQ, Baghdad.
The high point of that combat tour. The positive things that you saw.
Well, I mean, typically, for me, the most positive things are seeing Marines, really work as a team. You see them come together. Everybody's putting up with the same, monotony of deployment. Missing their families. But we take pride in what we do, and that's what makes us, United States Marines. And so to me, I can't really pick one day that was really the high point. For me, I look at it collectively, and you think about your departure, you think about your homecoming, and everything in between, and it's just such a good experience. I mean, who can say that they've that they've led people, not only people, but some of the finest people in the world, United States Marines, and that they've also led them into combat. So,
right. Is this your first trip to Afghanistan?
It is.
What are the positive changes have you seen from the day you got here until today on the 4th of October, 2011?
Well, the local ANSAF forces, all the ANSAF forces have just taken a lot more of an active role. I think I talk to them all the time on a daily basis, and they absolutely appreciate us here. They absolutely appreciate, what we do. For the locals out there, civilians that may or may not appreciate us, a lot of times that comes with a lot of misinformation and being uneducated on it. Possibly some propaganda from the Taliban, which is to be expected. But once they see how we conduct ourselves, and they see that we're there to help them, we're received pretty well. So I think the positive changes is absolutely, like I said, the Afghan people really taking up for their own country and taking responsibility for it.
Can you tell me, Marine, what separates a Marine from the other branches of the military? Can you tell me?
I can. I absolutely, without a doubt, I think it's the intangibles. I think the reason I say that is because more or less I feel like, in recruit training, coming up as a young enlisted Marine, young officers or what have you, all branches of the service are taught very similar things. But as Marines, we hold on to those intangibles. Like I was talking to my enlisted Marines last night around 2000 about, as enlisted Marines, I feel like we are the keepers of history and traditions. There's some history and traditions that I can put my hands on, but most times I can't. And it's those things that we hold near and dear to our hearts.
things that don't show up in the box score.
Exactly.
Are you married?
I am.
What's her name?
Annie.
Annie?
That's right.
Do you have any children?
I do. I have 3.
What are their names?
My daughter Ariana, she'll be 9 in January. Hoping to make it home for that one, beginning of January. My son Christian, he'll be 4, December 22nd, and my son Ben, he will be 7 months and 3 days.
No kidding. Tell me, Marine, the positive changes that did any one individual inspire you to become a Marine? Any?
Not really. It's kind of a funny story, actually. My brother Rick, he had joined the Army. Got out after 4 years. To be honest, I never really spoke to him too much about his experience in the Army, but you know, he's one of my big brothers. Of course, I always looked up to him and whatever the case. When I was getting ready to graduate high school, I remember I was trying to talk to the Army recruiter, and I was in my kitchen one day, or my parents rather, and I had been calling the guy off and on. And I just remember the last time I talked to him in my kitchen, he was kind of a flake. And I remember thinking that, I'm like, this guy doesn't seem very interested, you know? And I called him and he said he was going to call me right back. I was in the kitchen making lunch. And I set the phone down, and not even 30 seconds later it rang. And I was like, wow, you know, maybe I was wrong. I was like, maybe I was wrong. So I pick up the phone, and the motivated Marine on the other end, I'll never forget it, because he said, hey, how you doing? This is Staff Sergeant Bull from the United States Marine Corps, world's finest. And he was just fired up, and it fired me up. And I told him my situation. I said, hey, I've been talking to this Army recruiter. Here's the deal. Like, you know, he's kind of been, you know, gaffing me off, so to speak. And he told me, I'll be at your house in less than 5 minutes. And sure enough, he was there. He picked me up. And maybe I was a recruiter's dream. I just remember him telling me that, you know, if you're going to be a bear, why not be a grizzly bear? He also told me in no way, shape, or form did he or the Marine Corps need me, and that I probably wouldn't make it. And, you know, as a competitive young man, when you hear something like that, you know, needless to say, I rose to the challenge.
It's obvious you did. You look like you work out. Do you take omega-3, 6, or 9?
I do. I take all 3, actually.
Is that right?
Yes.
Plus you work out.
I do work out on a regular basis. That's absolutely true.
Well, I want to just thank you for your time, First Sergeant. I want to wish you continued success, and you keep these Marines here in a high spirit. Every time I hear Semper Fi, I know that it's the First Sergeant or the Gunny Sergeant Smith.
That's right.
They're on the quarterdeck, and they say it with a smile, and they say it loud, and they say it proud. This is Jim Wade from Bill McLive, WMMB, AM 1240.